I want to introduce a couple of those Eagle Award recipients and ask them to come forward and share a few words with us, a few encouragements. One guy is named Timothy Hale. Tim served 3+ years in prison based almost entirely on the 1512 fraudulent charge. In prison, he did the things that he'd done in his life before, which is he'd thought a lot and read a lot and been a writer and a thinker. He's the nephew of our own Cynthia Hughes, who's done so much for so many of us. But he's an extraordinary man, extraordinary leader now of those who have survived January 6th. And I think he's resisted this, but I don't care because I have the I bought this microphone, and I want him to come up and say at least a few minutes of thoughts, and have you encourage him with a round of applause. Timothy Hale. Tim? Come on, Tim. It's a dramatic entrance. Very dramatic entrance. I got it.
I have a flair for the dramatic. Oh, wow. If only I had known you could get an award for getting arrested. I would have done it a long time ago. Well, to stay somewhat on topic, I believe Phyllis once said that America was a giant island in a world that was hostile to our values. I couldn't agree with that more. And the thing that's really made America so exceptional is that we did have these giant oceans really shielding us from the rest of the world. The hostile forces of the world were always kept at bay. And so I think it was actually Lincoln who said that if America ever falls, it'll be because of those forces within. So that's kind of where we are. I don't know really where to go with this because of the nature of why I was even brought up here, but if you know the story of January 6th, you've actually kept up with it, you know that we've essentially been stripped of all the freedoms that made the United States so exceptional in the first place. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, due process, freedom of assembly. Those who went to object to a corrupt election were hunted down like animals. And so despite the repetition of 30-second clips on CNN, I guarantee you don't actually know the real story of January 6th. But the real story is that the United States government set us all up. We were deprived of due process. We were kept in solitary confinement for over a year. We were denied fair trials in the most, frankly, the most corrupt center of power in the United States, Washington, D.C., which is exactly why they're doing what they're doing to President Trump right now. You know, that they're trying to get him stuck in a very biased and corrupt trial. You know, I don't want to make this about me. I'll say that there are men that I met in jail that are still rotting away. They're men who've been charged with ridiculous charges. They've been convicted by biased juries, and everything that makes America great has been taken away from American citizens. And I hope you think about that, because they don't tell you about the fact that 1/3 of January 6th defendants were veterans. They don't tell you about the fact that people have had their livelihoods, their businesses destroyed, their reputations dragged through the mud, people have lost their wives. They don't tell you that children are growing up forgetting what the faces of their own fathers. Everything that makes, let's say, a conservative has been targeted, and this regime, illegitimate as it is still in effect. And this regime is not going to stop until it hunts down every American citizen it possibly can who makes America great. So we'll never make America great again unless we acknowledge the true depth and scope of this tyrannical and despotic regime, the extent to which they will go to destroy this country and everything that we hold dear. So, is that time?
That's good, that's time.
All right. Make America great again.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. It's one of the goals of many of us to make sure that the world and especially America hears more from Tim Hale because he's extraordinary.